Once upon a time, there were 4 good friends: Jack, Sam, Tom, and Ben. They lived in a small village near the sea. Every summer, the boys would go on a vacation to the mountains to explore, have fun, and forget about school. This year, they were excited. They had planned everything: the hiking, the swimming, and the campfire stories. But they didn't know that this vacation would be very different from all the others. One bright morning, the boys packed their bags with food, clothes, and a tent. They walked to the mountains, laughing and joking along the way. When they reached a small forest, they decided to set up their camp. They made a fire, cooked some food, and talked about all the fun they would have. The sun was setting, and they were excited to sleep under the stars. The next day, they decided to explore a nearby cave that they had heard about from an old man in the village. "This cave is very old," the man had said. "It holds many secrets." The boys were curious, and they couldn't wait to find out what was inside. They walked together. The path was rough and full of rocks, but soon they saw the dark entrance of the cave in front of them. The boys felt a little nervous, but they were brave. Jack, the oldest, led the way. Inside the cave, it was cool and quiet. The air smelled damp. They walked slowly, shining their flashlights on the walls. After a while, they came across something strange. There was a small wooden box lying on the ground, covered with dust. It looked old, and no one had ever seen it before. "What is this?" Sam asked, bending down to open the box. He carefully lifted the lid. Inside, the boys saw something that made their eyes widen in surprise. Gold coins, shiny jewels, and small pieces of treasure. It was more treasure than they had ever seen in their lives. They couldn't believe it. The box was full of gold. "I can't believe it!" Tom shouted. "This is amazing!" The boys stared at the treasure for a long time, their hearts racing. They had found something very special. But soon, a question popped into their heads. What should they do with the treasure? Jack looked at the box and then at his friends. "We should keep it. It's ours now. We found it." "No," Sam said. "We should tell the village people. It's too much for just us. Maybe it belongs to someone else." Tom nodded. "I agree with Sam. We should give it back." But Ben, who was always quiet, said nothing. He slowly stood up and looked at the treasure. He wanted it for himself. He thought about all the things he could buy, all the places he could go. Ben's mind began to change. He didn't want to share the treasure with anyone. "I don't care what you guys think," Ben said a bit angrily. "I'm taking the treasure. I'm keeping it for myself." The others looked at him in shock. "What are you talking about, Ben?" Jack asked. "We're a group. We should share it." Ben turned away, looking at the gold in the box. "Number I found it, so it's mine." "Ben, this is crazy," Sam said. "We're friends. We can't fight over money." But Ben was not listening. He grabbed the box and started walking away from the others. "I'm taking it. Don't try to stop me." Jack, Sam, and Tom all tried to stop him. "Ben, come on. We don't need the treasure. Let's just leave it here and go back to camp," Jack said. "No!" Ben shouted. "I'm not giving it up." Suddenly the boys started arguing loudly. Sam and Tom tried to take the box from Ben. "Stop, Ben! This isn't worth it," Sam begged. But Ben was stronger than Sam and Tom. He pushed them away. Jack tried to grab the box, but Ben pulled it back. The boys were yelling now, and the cave echoed with their voices. They didn't know what to do, and they didn't realize how much they were hurting each other. The fight became more and more serious. In the confusion, Ben tripped over a rock As he fell, he hit his head on the ground with a loud thud. The boy stopped fighting and rushed to his side. "Ben!" Jack shouted. "Are you okay?" But Ben didn't answer. His eyes were closed and he wasn't moving. Sam and Tom were scared. They shook him, but he didn't wake up. "He's not breathing," Tom cried. "Ben, please wake up," Sam said, tears filling his eyes. But it was too late. Ben had hit his head too hard, and he was gone. The boys were silent. They couldn't believe what had just happened. They had been fighting over gold, and now their friend was gone. "We didn't mean to hurt him," Jack whispered, his voice full of guilt. "It was just a fight. We were angry. I never thought it would end like this." Sam looked at the treasure, then at Ben's body. The treasure wasn't worth it. "We lost our friend." Tom nodded, his face pale. "What have we done?" The boys buried Ben near the cave. They cried, feeling the weight of their actions. They had been so focused on the gold, they hadn't realized how much they valued their friendship. The treasure that had seemed so important now meant nothing to them. As they walked back to the village, they felt empty inside. They had learned a painful lesson. They didn't need gold or jewels to be happy. They needed each other, and they needed to love and care for their friends. The vacation that started with so much excitement had ended in tragedy. The boys would never forget the day they lost their friend, all because of a fight over treasure. And from that day on, they promised never to let anything, not even gold, come between them again.